And welcome everyone to this Wednesday, January 17th edition of War Commander Unshackled, entitled Trials and Customer Support Relations. Uh, I'm controlling the show today because our fair leader, Dr. Phil, is indisposed, so you're going to have to put up with my god awful voice. Today we have David Dark Shadows, our wonderful Lady Warrior, and potentially some more attributing players a little later on in the show as they get out of their day work and jobs. So tonight's episode is just going to touch on some of the new forum posts we have, the downtime and release, the upcoming invasion, which starts on the 18th, just tomorrow. Little bit on the Shadow Ops, which I'm not sure if we touched on before, but I figure I'd touch on it again. And of course, the new customer support initiative. David and Lady, if you wish to say hello or anything, feel free.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening, Clarice.
Oh, God.
Well, that got rid of the
I'll
last
mute your ass if you do that again. I swear I will.
I wouldn't blame you, not one bit. All right, well, I guess we're going to take a keynote statement from the great Dr. Phil in his absence, and let's just dive right in, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? We'll start with the 8.03 downtime release notes. It'll be short, sweet, and painless.
Oh no, we're all doomed.
David? I swear.
You know my temperament, David.
Yeah, but I figured I'd give you a good laugh.
He's going to learn mine in about a minute if you don't cut it out.
All right.
We will discuss this tomorrow when you call me. I'm sorry, Venom. Go ahead.
It's quite all right. I don't care. This is a lighthearted show. I don't hold grudges or any of that kind of shit. It doesn't bother me either way. All right. Let me get my screen up here. So hopefully everybody out there on YouTube can see. CM Bernie was thankful enough today at 1 in the afternoon to post his little release notes and update it, edit it today, 1:12, which is kind of interesting. 6 minutes after he posted it, he edits it. But it is as follows. Commanders, the following changes and fixes have been applied on the Wednesday, January 17th update. Invasion. Von Kruger is launching another full-scale invasion on the sector, defending your base and win Sentinel component caretaker tokens and more. Shadow Ops Operation Fallen Angels Phase 10 will start. The final phase of the Shadow Ops Fallen Angel begins on Friday, the 19th of January at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Venom, dear, are you screen sharing?
I thought I was. I doubt I am.
I'm not seeing it. That's why I'm asking him.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it on my TV either. So you are screen sharing.
No, you got
and presenting. Yeah, there we go. I didn't highlight my own box. I was stuck on David's box. Take that as you wish. Make as many.
Maybe as a
get off my box, damn it!
There you go.
Swing that way.
Yeah. I forgot I was highlighting your box when you were showing me those go-go bar tests. This is just getting dirtier and dirtier by the second. General fixes and improvements. Oh, wait, let me go back a second before I lose my mojo completely. Shadow Ops Operation Fallen Angel Phase 10. The final phase for Shadow Ops Fallen Angel begins on Friday the 19th. Unlimited standard Siege Squadron parts during this phase. One for each complete playthrough. Elite parts are available in the Siege Squadron boss base as well. General fixes and improvements. This is the fun part we all look forward to every downtime. An issue preventing some players from adding units to the Delta Air Platoon has been resolved. In response to feedback from community, the Caretaker bonus token base has had its difficulty reduced. Well, we'll see about that. I haven't done that recently, so I don't know. An exploit causing are caused by a bug resulted in some players receiving extra platforms, rocket silos, and heavy platforms. These have been removed from affected players, and the bug has been fixed. Well, that is actually a commendable fix.
Yes, because I saw tons of screenshots of different players with just uncountable amounts of
Platforms.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Did it carry on along the same route as the 5 or 6 thorium mines? Not
Yes.
thorium vaults, but thorium mines.
Yeah, it
was-
did. Yeah.
That was a pain in the ass to look into a player's base and see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, any topics of discussion before I go on to the next, the first key part of this? Anything else you want to say about the fixes?
I'll
I
be
know
curious
it's-
about the caretaker base because I tried one when they first come out and I could not finish it in the time that was allowed. So we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the caretaker base because I was going to talk about that a couple times, and I'm like, because it was just like one mistake in the base and you're pretty much done. It's like once you lose one of the units in there, either the air defense or the ground defense, you can't beat the base no matter what.
Well, yeah, you can. It takes a shit ton of missiles, but by that time, you're
Oh
out
yeah,
of
I
time.
guess that's true. I didn't even think about that. I should have done that a few times. I could have saved my. Oh, poor
Well,
me.
I will say this and commend him for it. Watch City's video.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I got to say. Watch City's video. Now, I will say this.
I haven't found
you
an
will
updated
probably-
one. The first one was a problem for me, but
So you will lose your butt. I commend City for it because I know he said he took him several tries to get it just right, and when he did, he got it down to one caretaker. That was it. Now, for those of you that know, caretaker is instant build, so if it's easy for you to get Thor, scrap and rebuild.
Yeah.
If not, you're
Instant repair.
If not, you're sitting on a couple hours repair.
yeah, I've been doing them pretty good, but I missed one because of a couple of mistakes I made. But back to the kind of the patch notes. I know they're kind of short, but I do kind of appreciate like if there's a fix in there like about the air platoon that doesn't affect me, but maybe someone else is having that problem. So at least they're getting out fixes that. I had a problem a couple weeks ago with couldn't build air, and they applied a fix. So it's like I know it's really awesome to at least get the fixes, even though they may not be as extensive we'd like. They're still at least trying to get a couple things out there, and so it's kind of not to knock those fixes, but it is kind of really short, and it's kind of like it's like, well, there's the show.
Yeah, well, at least it's more expansive, and the information is actual fixes. It is not all aesthetics. It's not changing a typographical error or some stupid little photo not showing correctly or pixelation or some shit like that. At least these are actual fixes that apply to in-game experience. A person who couldn't add a unit to their air platoon, it affects their gameplay. A person who can't get the caretaker tokens and are just screwed out of even getting through these bases, it affects our gameplay and our enjoyability, and the platforms, and obviously the platforms, rocket silos, heavy platforms going in during a PvP season as it is, and coming up against somebody who has 37 fucking platforms and 12 heavies and loaded out, it definitely affects players. So these fixes are admirable. They are effective for getting rid of issues that affect and hamper gameplay, as opposed to, oh, the picture of the dog doesn't quite look right, let's fix that, and we leave the busted drone silo. You know what I mean? That kind of crap.
Yeah.
Right.
I was looking at that last, and I kind of want to, on the forums, if you talk about cheating at all, you pretty much say, or like they shut you down, and they, and so I realize that maybe if this is too toxic of a conversation, but to me, it's like I look at these people who duplicate these things, and I'm thinking the topic I'm wondering is why is there no repercussions for that? I don't know if that's a good topic you want to talk about, Mr. Venom, but that seems like such a here
we
yet
can
again
approach
we have
that
another exploitable theme, and it not one single
formally.
mention of these people. These people have repercussions were handed out. I mean, they could at least say it doesn't have to be. I'm not trying to say ban every these people, but I'm saying do something to
Well,
warrant
Yeah.
I'll
them.
say this. I'll say this. It's now this is a formally exploitable issue. Thankfully, they fixed it and they found the bug and they've corrected it, so that's good. Um, Gameplay manipulation will never cease in any game. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything has some form or format in which it can be manipulated. That's just the nature of computers and technology. However, it is nice to see in this specific text that the company is being a little bit more transparent with the fact that they are fixing these things and calling a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. So that's great because in the previous vein of their communication with us as players, their idea was don't talk about it, do not you know bring credence to players' issues based on these because we don't want anyone to know that A, we're tracking them down or looking to find fixes or, not to be snide or crass, but or just ignoring this issue because it's making us money, uh, just floating bullshit to try to appease the masses. They didn't talk about it at all. It was refused to have any kind of commentary or communication about it. So this form of saying, and using very straightforward terms in this general fixes and improvements statement, it's commendable that they're not belittling us as players, belittling us as intelligent individuals in this community, and basically saying, okay, yes, this was a bug and an exploitable bug, and we've cracked down and we found finally an issue and we fixed it. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, it's
They
definitely
don't.
a positive impact.
They
It's a
don't.
good thing that because like you're saying, I've seen a bunch of pictures. I'm not sure if I remember something about bunkers. I don't see that, but it's I've seen a couple you know
Oh, yeah.
caveats to that going on. So it's really a positive impact that they are saying, hey, we see it too. We fixed it.
Yeah, we see it and we're admitting to it existing. No, we're not just seeing it and not saying anything about it and telling you that if you say anything about it, we're removing you from the discussion board.
Yeah,
That was a cold, very business-like um, way of handling it.
Yeah, it just for me. The forums are, their forum rules are in place for various reasons, and I respect the moderators. But for me, it's like as an open kind of, semi-open chat here. It's like we can talk about these things. I'm hoping in more, and kind of, But then it's really the really question is, honestly, I guess my answer is what can they do? They can't find someone 50 gold or take away the resource. It's hard to sort of
Well,
do something about these sort of
that again.
problems.
That again. It lends to three simple facts. And as players, you have to understand facts. I know a lot of the European market players and a lot of the Australian. Your laws do not necessarily apply. You can contact your forms of Better Business Bureau. You can do your legal things, but they don't typically apply to an out of district, out of country firm. Um, United States has buyer beware protection laws. A lot of the responsibility, especially in a format like this, the responsibilities and the risks lie on the person who invests in it, and we are the people who invest in it. So a lot of this, and the way Kixai is very, intelligently, although again cold-heartedly, but truthfully, this is the burden of the beast being the monster that is technology companies and gaming. They've protected themselves to points where, when you log in every time, you're basically signing an agreement with them, and they stipulate in their agreements that this game is not technologically proficient to be 100% bug-free, glitch-free, exploit-free, problem-free. In fact, their terms are that it is inherently filled with issues. And that's correct. And they, in legalese, they admit that. You do not own rights to anything in this game at all. It is their game. You're playing on their platform. You're playing with their intellectual property, their computer-generated technological property. You're having fun on their system with their stuff. You might invest your currency in it, or you might invest your time in it. But it is still, at its core, their property, and they have more stake to it than you do. So there's a lot that you can sit there and argue about. I'm not playing devil's advocate. Lord knows I've said it enough times on the shows how I feel about the whole situation. There are things that have to be looked at in a form of respect to us that in the past that hadn't been. But at the same time, I don't overstep my bounds. I know where to hit and where not to hit. This is a George Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard boxing match. This isn't Mike Tyson. It's not just go in. It's not just go in and keep throwing haymakers. You got to jab and duck and outwit your opponent in this kind of a game. In this kind of a
you have to pick your battles.
Pick your battles. Pick your shots.
Pick your battles.
Yeah.
Right, so, but if it seems like a losing battle if they keep patching cheats but don't actually fix the cheaters. If there's no, if I pay 50 gold to repair my tunes and then go against someone who has 500,000 heavy platforms and all my tunes die, I could send a ticket and say, hey, I guess that's it's like that's my recourse is that, but their recourse is like, what did they do? They cost Kixeye gold, they cost them time, they cost them effort, and what was their punishment?
It doesn't cost Kixeye anything.
Yeah,
you gotta think of it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Cost them a ton
it doesn't cost them a dime. The game is up 24. Well, I'll put it this way, James, for the downtime that they had. The game company is running 24/7. This game is running 22 hours a day, 7 days a week, because you give it time for updates and downtimes like we had last. Sometimes, and we've gone in the past of like multiple downtimes within the course of 4 hours being down.
But downtime does not equal customer support. I mean, we're going to circle back to this in about 5 minutes when we talk about the support.
We will. And that's why
that's why I think that's what I'm saying. This is a great discussion because it hits on every single point of my spend, what they have to but to me. When in business, you frame everything as I understand why everything's framed in a dollar per cost, because that's how you do it. You sit there and say, this service costs me X amount of money, and cheating costs them money. I mean, it does.
It doesn't cost the company money. It costs us money. The only part.
Right. Look at this third line. Where did that third line came from? A developer going back and saying, oh no, I did something wrong. I did. So then they have to go through, they apply, 15, 20 minutes worth of work, an hour, who knows how long it's going to take, but that cost them time that they could have been developing, a fix for something else. So I mean, everything's kind of down to that cost of.
True. But inevitably they're going to be in there working, finding a fix for something. If it isn't this,
that last line makes them money because somebody like you or me or Venom or Lonnie or is going to try to bubble that base to prove, hey, I can bubble that base.
My point is definitely my final point is this, and then we're going to move on to the next topic, and we'll come back to this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like it's.
Hey,
I'll let David say his.
Hang on, before the next topic. All right, KS Manowar wants me to test the Siege Squadron live on his base. All right.
Well, see,
we're gonna do that.
It's good to see you.
Enter. Fuck you.
Well, it's unlimited parts, so they're trying to, is it worth it to get it? Is it worth to put the extra time to go do it? So,
Well, mine's right
Hold
now.
on.
Got a level 4,
All
so
right. Well,
we'll see.
my point on this is before I lose it, I almost
go for it.
completely did. But what I was going to say is, and then we'll come back to this when we get to the new customer support system. Kixeye understands that their excuse to everything is if you come across the base that is obvious to a longtime player. I'm rooting out those who've never come across these kind of issues over the last 8 years, 9 years. But these things, when you go into a base and you see that they have way more platforms than they're supposed to have, all tricked out, or you can tell from an advanced scout, which again was a purposeful addition to this game. You have advanced scout. You can go in without subjecting a potential troop platoon to damage because you don't have to be right up against the base, and you can see, oh, this guy's got this ridiculous, rating or this overcapped. Or although I will take a step back and say the overcapped issue was bugged to begin with the advanced scouts. Not everybody was overcapped, even though they were showing, and then they fixed that, and then it got worse, and then it got better. But that's besides the point. But seeing extra platoons, extra missile silos, extra whatever, the point being, don't go into that base. Don't lose your shit. It is your responsibility to protect your own time, not their responsibility, in all honesty, to protect your time. Now, they are responsible when something that they have causes you direct damage when you did nothing wrong, or what you've done has no rational explanation for why you suffered said damage. For example, back in the old days, I would hit an event, and I would hit an event base, and I'd destroy the building, and lo and behold, it would tick, tick, tick to red, and then pop back up green. And I'd have to destroy that tower all over again and all over again. It was the never-ending 3-4 times hitting the same goddamn tower in an event till it finally died. And the entire time
you were just saying that it's our responsibility to look at this, and our responsibility to scout this. But then when you hit a tower, it doesn't die, and you continue to hit that tower. I mean,
I'm talking in a PvE. I'm talking in an event. It's PvE. It's there.
I've seen people when you pop a bunker. It's like you scout a bunker. I mean, you could scout a bunker and see the size.
But tell you what's inside.
I've seen people destroy a building, and under that building pops out like 300,000 units, and all of a sudden there's like 20 bunkers under that building. It's like,
I understand that. And in subjects like that, where it's something that's cloaked and you can't rationally see it coming, there is a reasonable responsibility that Kixeye should have to the player base, and I agree. However, they have to protect their liability. If they pay off one person, they can't pay one person off for the same issue as the next as it is. And that could be something as simple as my rocket silo won't refill. Now, this could go across 200,000 players in a 500,000 player base field. They can't give the same rational response and proper payment or compensation for that issue across those 200,000 people. Of the 200,000 people, there might be 17 different responses given, and 25 different compensations, and 15 different go fuck yourselves. So in that aspect, there's a certain component that you have to understand. They have to protect themselves from the liability of a small issue catapulting the corporation into a giant liability.
Did I hear somebody say that they're going to have players be CS?
Yeah, we're getting to
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
That's I'm going to move on to
we're talking about. I'm honestly talking about why.
I really don't think there's any player in this game that can answer any question that I can't answer to myself. I mean, let's be honest.
We're going
to sign up for the service.
We're
we'll get through this. We'll get through this invasion notes. We'll get through the shadow ops, and then we'll spend the rest of the show on exactly that subject because that's the one I want to spend most time on.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
All right. I will let you present your bloody bombing there, David. So.
Yeah, we got to give the YouTube audience what they want.
Yep. They want to see me kill off a unit. Am I presenting?
Here we
Yeah, you're up.
All right. Here's the Siege Squadron on KS Man of War's base. As soon as it freaking decides to load.
Look at him. Look, he's got his power plants on overdrive. KS, you're a noob.
No,
Actually,
he also
no,
Watch
that's
those
a pro
hunters
tip
to
right
do the
there.
most damage when those
No, I know.
parasites-
I know. No, I
Monkeys.
just had to say he was a noob anyway because I can't.
That's
He's
the
a
one.
noob.
Yeah.
That's the one.
we're
thing.
gonna see how long this lasts in his base.
That's
with-
I want to put mine in there next. I'll just use my Siege Squadron. That's it.
Well, it's like we're throwing at this base, but I'm noticing right up front, just when you look, you got to say, hey, there's 2 hunters. So
I got to put room for this.
those hunters are probably going to be the first thing that Siege Squadron is going to.
Well,
Not
remember,
want to
you
ask
do not-
questions
you
for.
do not control the plane's flight path.
It always goes for the CC.
That is correct. It does a crisscross pattern over the center point. It doesn't actually go for the CC. It goes for the center point of the base.
Oh, and look at him. He had Twin Titan up on too. KS, you cheat.
Because it follows the center point because that allows it to drop the most number of pods. That's the furthest cross
Oh, there goes one.
distance.
Yep, one's
The thing
done.
of it is, my Ravengers was 11, so they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I should throw in some phalanx just to piss him off.
Oh, I would.
Who's watching? Who's watching YouTube?
There's actually been a ton of people with questions about whether or not the Siege Squadron, that has about 37 million health. So people have been pointing out that the actual UI has been saying that it has 114 million. So it's like I should probably verify that before I say that live. But
No, that's fine.
Everybody says, it's got a lot of health, and they say, well, it dies faster than the Herald, and the Herald don't die as fast as it. But we're not used to. But you guys got to think everything that's shooting at that Siege Squadron in there. When you got the Herald going through, there's only what his hunters shooting at the
Just the
Herald.
hunters. Yeah, just the hunters.
It's that, and also remember health percentages and the whole bullshit number on the bottom of what its power rating is. But health specifically,
Holy crap.
you have to understand. Health relates broadly. You have to manipulate that number in your own player intellect on whether or not it's taking that kind of health against burst damage or that kind of health against sustained damage. Since Kixai has adjusted the damage output of different weapons different ways, the health ratings don't necessarily correlate.
I think KS is a little upset.
David, if you would have taken out those hunters with those phalanx first, because they're on the edge of the base and probably easy to
I
pick
know.
them up, he would have dropped the siege and tore up his base with just siege.
I want to know how much you're going to...
And I think David deserves a base test from me.
You're going to get 122 off the poor guy.
I can't do it to KS at all. I can't.
Yeah, don't flatter him, because
You
cost him 16 hours of damage.
You do realize if you don't give him the bubble, whoever's going to jump on that base. KS
is going to screenshot this and post it to every single that he defeated.
Yeah,
David.
I know. I couldn't do it to him. I should have, but I didn't. Okay.
KS is a good kid. He is. So there's no sense doing it. We're not in the agreement.
I really apologize to the clan KS because we always call Man of War KS, and apparently KS is their clan.
I couldn't do it. Yes, I know. That probably would not have allowed.
We should take votes on this panel on how many people would have wiped him out.
Yeah. It wasn't part of the agreement.
Exactly. It was not part of the agreement. So David did the right thing. He did the right thing. Although the putting those in there was pretty damn funny.
I know he's probably shitting a brick on son of a bitch.
Oh, you didn't see what he put in the YouTube side check. You fuck. That's exactly what he said.
David, let's see here. What else?
That was fun.
Fucking Zach. Fuck.
Okay, so now what are we doing? Invasion?
All right, so invasion. All right, so it says, here we go. I hate it. Commander, we've received intel of a Veracraft invasion incoming to the sector. Overcome waves to win thorium metals, sentinel components, and caretaker token components for your sentinel units included. Those four. Yeah, okay. So it includes sentinel unit stuff for your acolytes, purifiers, vindicators, seekers, valiants, and chaplains. Wave prizes are as follows. Wave 1, the reward will be 2 acolyte components, bronze status, and 1,000 medals. Wave 2, 2 purifier components, bronze status, 1,200 medals. Wave 3, 2 vindicator components, bronze status, 1,400 medals. Wave 4, 2 seeker components, whoop-de-doo, we don't use those freaking things, bronze status, and 1,600 medals. Wave 5, 2 valiant components, bronze status, 1,800 medals. Wave 6, 2 chaplain components, bronze, 2,000 medals. Wave 7, 2 acolyte components, now we're in the silver status, with 4,000 medals. Wave 8, 2 vindicator components, silver, 7,000 medals. Wave 9, 2 valiant components, silver, 1 caretaker token, so you get 1 upgrade token. And wave 10, 2 acolyte components, gold, and 2 more caretaker tokens. So that's good. Now your leaderboard prizes for those who rank in the times. Your number 1 position to 100 will get a 21 caretaker token bonus. Those who are in the 101 to 300th position in time will get a 15 caretaker tokens. Those 301st position to 600 will get 10 caretaker tokens. 601st position to 1,000 will get 6 caretaker tokens, and those 1,001 and below, so those who complete it all the way through to all 10 waves and are within whoever is there, and the 1,001st position will get 3 caretaker tokens, which is good because we need those caretaker upgrades to make them really viable. So, any discussion on that? Does the prizes seem any drive? I mean, medals, nah. For the cost,
they seem like last invasion, honestly.
Yeah,
it seems just like last invasion. Although they just change the units, they change the tech you get. But
I mean, you know what? I forgot to do last invasion. I'm gonna remember to do it this time. But I got my drone silos and I got them divided up half and half for the Herald. But this time I got enough of the drones. What is it? The Hornets, the one that hit ground. Well, I got enough of those to fill my silos completely up with them some bitches.
I think the Hornets hit land, the Yellow Jackets hit ground, correct?
Yeah,
I think
Yellow Jackets are the ground ones.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Hornets are what I have because they're the ones that take out the Herald.
Yeah.
Yellow, they're the ugly looking things that look like mosquitoes.
I'm gonna call them my buzzers. My buzzers.
I think it's the Hornets actually have the airfoils, so that's always kind of reminds me that they're
they have
for air.
4 little fan.
Now the question is,
so yeah, it's definitely like what you're focusing on is with those drones is if you want to invade the Yellow Jackets would be the best because there's very limited air, and what limited air you have you can take out with something else.
What are you saying, David?
Since you call them your buzzers, fuck you. The batteries included.
I am just not going to even get in that conversation. We do not discuss batteries around me.
All right, Shadow Ops Operation Fallen Angel. Like I said, I don't know if we discussed this in a previous show. My memory is not what it used to be, which is still better than what it started out as, but whatever. So Shadow Ops Operation Fallen Angel. Attention commanders, the Shadow Ops campaign Operation Fallen Angel is here. Yay. Unlock the Siege Squadron and the Ravengers by earning 8 standard Siege Squadron parts, obtaining by each weekly Shadow Ops phase, like the Condor, blah, 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 blah. We shall pretty much know how Shadow Ops operations work. Siege Squadron will repeatedly strafe over your enemy command center, which we showed in our little test earlier, wreaking havoc until it destroys or battle is won. While in battle, the Siege Squadron will continuously drop new units, i.e. the Ravengers. They're fully controllable and do not add to capacity. The longer your Siege Squadron spends flying above the battle, the more Ravengers join the fight, and also that applies to the addition of extra Siege Squadron planes by leveling up the Siege Squadron itself. Mission details. Fallen Angel Shadow Ops campaign will run for a total of 3 months, which we already know. We've been in this already. Breaks down each month. Each month will contain 3 or 4 phases, which last for 72 hours. Once you activate the phase, you must complete Tier 3 in 8 of the 10 phases to unlock the Siege Squadron. During the time, specific targets must be destroyed to score points and earn prizes. You can only win one part of the Siege Squadron per phase, although that is changed for Phase 10, where you can release unlimited. Campaign phase details start at 10 a.m. on Friday, the 3rd of November, and Phase 3 was today, started, and will end tonight, or excuse me, the 23rd at midnight-ish. You have 72 hours to complete the campaign from when you first start your timer. However, if you start your timer with less than 72 hours to go in the phase, you will not get the full allotted time. So obviously start your timer before the last day, basically. Shadow Ops points attack Shadow Ops bases to earn points. Up to 8,000 Shadow Ops points are earned from the initial playthrough. Any additionals will earn 4,000 Shadow Ops points, can be earned with each replay, yada yada, and the arms cache system that applies. Completed phase to earn the arms caches. Each arms cache contains components for the technical or play phase grants a change to win up to 3 components per cache. Arms cache is the Arctic tires, cache bronze arms, vehicle technical, tire effect. Level 1, it grants immunity to cryo. Level 2 grants the cryo immunity as well as increasing speed by 5%. Level 3 grants immunity to cryo and increases movement speed by a factor of 10%. Grip tires, bronze cache, technical unit, slot tire, effect 20% faster turning speed at level 1, 30% faster turning speed at level 2, and at level 3 it has a 50% faster turning speed. Streamline plating, cache silver arms, and it's a technical component. Armor slot decreases damage taken by 15% at level 1, decreases damage by 20% at level 2, and damage is decreased by 25% at level 3. Again in the armor slot for the technical. This is the reinforced plating.
Those are actually quite old information because they're the technical was the first 3 months, and now they're actually handing out caretaker parts. But
yeah, well, I'm just going through the whole thing because that's whatever.
You're the boss.
I don't care. It's for. I mean, isn't this? Wait, are they giving out caretaker stuff in this one today? No, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it is.
Yes.
Well, where the fuck is the caretaker stuff? Well, there's a Siege Squadron. I'll just
scroll
skip through all this. Why
God
are you
damn it,
guys
yeah.
telling me? Oh, there we go. That's the Draken. Yay! Well, god dang it! Why don't they put all this shit at the top? Oh, look at that. See, that's December. That was edited the 1st of December. Was that okay? Yeah,
Keep going down. It's all the way down at the bottom. You knew.
I don't go to the bottom. I don't read forums. Oh, look at that. There's a pretty little thing.
There it is.
Okay. Well,
We're in January.
That killed 5 minutes of airtime that I was looking forward to. All right, so Von Kruger's mining operation was halted. We already know this too. So we beat Von Kruger back. Blah 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 blah. Don't expect. I thought we already read all this shit. All right, mission details, Shadow Ops, blah blah blah. We read all this.
Yeah, the big takeaways were on phase 10, so that means we can get unlimited parts.
Yeah.
The Siege Squadron's coming out. You got a couple more weeks for the Siege Squadron boss base. The 31st is the last day for it. So we got like couple more days before the event, and then to finish it off the phases.
So hit as many as you're willing to hit. Don't lose all your units in this bullshit. And here's the stuff you can win. You can get caretaker components, which is A coil slot called the zone coil, which gives you area damage, negative 20%. Solid coil, again, coil slot gives you negative 20% to burst damage taken. Silver cash, you get agile treads, which give you 100% better turning speed, or an increase of 100% turning speed, I should say. High speed treads, which give you 25% movement speed boost and 25% acceleration. Gold cash, leadership training, which gives you increased absorption area radius. So the larger radius, damage will or units have a larger radius to be within the active radius of to receive the damage taken to the caretaker rather than to the unit itself. And then the that word martyrdom training. So martyr. Why did you say? Okay, whatever. On death grants a 50% damage resistance to all units affected. I think we already went all those shit anyway. Let's get on to the actual topic that I'm interested in.
Well, the good news is you're practicing for November 2nd, which will have most likely a new unique and a new siege squadron or shadow ops.
Shadow ops. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There will be.
I get all my 8 parts in the first 8 rounds. I never have to suffer through the end, and I'm not one to grind, so I end up never getting enough components anyway. I get what I get, and that's it.
I will say this: I'm kind of hoping, since the boss base is on the 31st, that's after. I believe it's after the event. That I'm hoping the new unit will be dropping the parts in the boss base.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
It's like, so that for that. So, anyways.
So we'll jump on the actual topic that this whole show, or at least my running of it, is based on, because the other stuff was incidental information. It's just boiler-based every Wednesday. But the big topic is the new WCB Customer Support Initiative. So Dr. Phil wisely talked about this. He was offered this idea. So here's the layout, just to reiterate what he already discussed and apprised us of. Commander's War Commander has gone through many changes in its 8 years of operation. One thing that has always remained the same is you, the community. As a company, Kixeye works hard to ensure the quality of our content and the scope of our features meets the high expectations set by our players. We share your passion for the game, and we are humbled by how involved all of you have become. This is your game. Let's continue working together to build an even better experience for all. With that in mind, we've partnered with a company that helps to connect players with questions about the game to a small number of carefully selected War Commander player experts. These experts have been selected based on their knowledge of the game and positive interactions with the rest of the community. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I must have hay fever or something.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's catching. I'm telling you, it's catching. What happens when I submit a support ticket? I don't know. You guys want to go over these point by point, or just want me to read the whole thing and then we'll just open discuss it?
Why don't we just once you read it and then we'll just open this, open it.
Yeah, since this is kind of brand new.
Yeah, what happens when I submit a support ticket? Depending on the nature of the question, it will either be routed to Kixeye agents or one of our player experts. If a player expert are unavailable to answer the question or unable to answer the question they've been sent, it will be passed along to Kixeye agents, preserving our place or your place in the queue. Which types of questions will experts answer? Player experts will primarily receive questions that can be resolved with their understanding of the game alone, since they won't have access to the player data agents normally do. Questions that relate to payment or involve personal information will be sent directly to Kixeye agents. Why make this change? Oh, I've got a million reasons why. During our testing, questions sent to player experts were resolved significantly faster. Many questions were answered within minutes, while providing high quality and well-received advice to players. Because we have players around the world, we are able to answer questions nearly 24/7, providing help when it would otherwise be difficult. how to become a War Commander player expert. Quit the game.
Yeah.
That's expert. That's expert tip right there. No, seriously, we wanted to ensure that those who interact with our player experts or with our player experts, which makes no sense because it should say we want to ensure that those who interact with our players have the best experience possible. I guess. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, maybe makes sense. We want to ensure that those who interact with our player experts have the best experience possible. So, okay. Which is why we will be hand selecting qualified players who meet our highly selective criteria. If you are chosen, if you are chosen, you will receive an email with an invite link to the address tied to your War Commander account. Now, I don't check my emails for this shit anyway. So those who actually respond to this, God bless you. We're excited about continuing to empower our players to help each other and reward them for doing so. Here's to many more years to come. Warm regards, CM Bernie. Okay.
Okay, so the first
you
thing,
gotta
warm
get
and
an email
fuzzy.
to even go into it, right?
Well, they will have sent to the email that you set up with your War Commander account. They will have sent an email to you asking you if you'd like to participate.
which is why I didn't get one, because when I did that little thing that they asked you to fill out, the last poll thing, I put a different email because I don't check the email that I have for my game account.
Well, there you go.
So it's not tied to anything
How
that's
long
but
ago would
Kickside.
that been sent out? Because I ain't got one.
Last week, I believe it was, that a lot of people said they received
The,
it.
the majority of them showing up, the majority of posts showing up about this topic started the middle or end of last week. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of question why didn't you get invited? Well, that's the first thing to go look is like
try to remember
where's your actual
what
email
you used 8 years ago and check it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think one of the biggest questions that a lot of people have had, and I even saw it in the YouTube chat just a few minutes ago, does this now mean that all players are going to have support, or is it still, if you haven't spent $50, you're screwed?
Well, let's put it this way: if you have spent $50, you're screwed. Either way,
Of course,
you've been, and this is me talking. This is not the program or the brand. This is just me talking. You've been completely fucked over from the start. Nothing that quote unquote $50 quality customer service was supposed to be applied. Premium support never fucking happened for me. And
never happened for me either.
I spent that $50 way back when, and I've spent thousands of dollars on top of that over the time before that was even instituted.
Yep.
And when you frame it like the premium support, that's what it's paying for, then when you sort of do this second tier support, that doesn't feel premium to me either. No. Although they do bring up a point, this can answer your question faster, so maybe you
not necessarily. I had this discussion in the pre-show a little bit. We'll definitely talk about that. But
yeah, sorry.
No. But no. You're
level 1 support. This is not going to be level 1 support at all. This is like level half support. Because you have a player that is doing it.
Okay. We already had 3-party support in place. You had your support tickets, which would go to Kickside representatives. Then they farmed that out to a third-party customer service system, which we all were made aware of. Everybody knows that. When you get these blanket customer support return tickets or answers that were, David showed me one today before the show started. That is just it's mind-boggling. You include a video, you include text, you state that you've done all the standard procedures to ensure that your system is running smoothly. You, for example, if David doesn't mind me saying, you clear your cache and cookies, you recycle your, power cycle your router, you do all this shit, and you still have the same issue. Then you send in the support ticket. You insist and infer about everything that you've done ahead of this support ticket, including, telling them that you've done this and that you've done this before and this is happening to others. and they send you the ticket right back saying, oh, by the way, clear your cache, power cycle your router, you know.
Yep.
That is the the outsourcing issue of support. So
Yeah,
there's
considering
go ahead.
well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been playing this game for over 5 years, going on 6, maybe 7 by this time. And I do this for a living. I'm a tech guy. So rebooting my computer, rebooting my router, clearing my cache, clearing my cookies is the first thing I do before I even put in a support ticket. You know, I mean, I wrote a little batch program that clears all my cache and cookies before I'm done. When I'm done with the game, I do that. I run it. Boom, done. My computer's fresh and ready to go. You know, yes, there are programs out there, C Cleaner, IO Bit Cleaner, all those out there that do it for you. And I said, screw it. I do it by hand. It gets it better for me. But, you know, when you put in a ticket literally stating, I've done this, and this, and then let's say you include screenshots of your trace routes, your ping times, your upload, your download speeds, and they still ask you for the same stuff you just sent them. It's a wonder why customers get pissed off at customer support. Now, granted, with the player helping player thing that they're incorporating, okay, you guys handpicked people. They may not be qualified to help. You know,
this is my concern, and this is where I said they already had a 3-tier system in place, so I exposed that you had the original customer service, dev teams, etc., talking to you. You had the outsourcing. All right, so that was tier 2. You had basically what you have now, or what they're trying to promote now, in our community support forum section. So when we play and we go into the forums, you know, you have your general discussions, your alliance feature, which neither here nor there. I mean, that was good at the onset. But all the way at the bottom, you had this community support. And in this section, you would text in what your issue was, and other War Commander players with knowledge would try to give you the best common sense, rational explanation on how to rectify your issue. So this is all they're doing, is they're abridging this from the forum section and adding it to a text and email functionality through this third-party company, where these hand cherry-picked individuals will get a text alert, and then they can choose to apply or deny accepting the question and trying to resolve it. It's mind-boggling to me that it's nothing new. It's just they've given up on the one way that they did it and trying to, for lack of a better term, like everything in this game, they're changing the sprite package and selling us an old unit in a new shiny box. They're changing an old system and selling it to us again. And it's more cost inefficient in my eye when they already had this feature up, and instead of properly promoting it, they're now going this other route, or having a person directly linking all these things down into that section and basically training the player base to go there. You know, this is something that honestly should have been at the top of the page, the community support feature. It should be, you know, general discussions, and then community support, and then updates and archives. Then all below all that shit, your fan creations and your all that other crap that doesn't really get touched that much. But instead, they bury it at the bottom of the page, and people forgot about it.
Yeah.
But this is basically the same situation, except you actually have, I guess, another person on the other end that's a little more tangible. I mean, either effect, it was a player helping another player. In the community supports feature on the forums, it was players answering to players. Now, there was obviously posts that were pointless and inflammatory, just trollish, you know, and calling everybody noobs, yada, yada, yada. At least this effectively, you know, puts that down. What do you guys think? Do you see the correlation? Am I off base?
I sort of to me, it's like on the forums, if someone posts a comment like, "Hey, how do I do this?" and if I reply to them, because I try to help people wherever whenever I see something. So if I reply to them, and this is how you do that, and it's like, to me, it's like the chances of them coming back to the forum and finding that post and keeping track of it or whatever is slim. So if this enables them to have an app on their phone that sort of they can, I don't know what the use case of that is, but having someone go to that extent to sort of have that question answered, and they can get that answer, if I can answer that question and they can get it, that to me makes me feel better, because hopefully they'll have a better chance to get in it. And it's a lot of the questions, and I think that's like, this to me is like, this is, if there's a performance problem in the game, this app is not going to be able to solve that. At best case is they'll hopefully get the users will hopefully get the supporters, the people who are helping others will get an app that says, "Hey, game server is running slow. This is happening," or something. But doubtful. But so ultimately, all these questions about that are simple. To me, it's like, this is like someone asked, "What's the next? What's the event about? What's the next event? What's the next, hero unit?" And to me, it's like, as a longtime player, I can answer that question, but maybe it's not the right answer. But so maybe that's not the questions they're looking for. But there are people that say, like, for instance, a very big, like, let's one single use case. When you get an expert Jericho or expert unit from the gear store, and you buy it, and you're like, "How do I build this unit? I already have a Jericho. I can't build the Jericho because I want built. It's only unique. What do I need to do?" And they go on the forums, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that's the stupidest thing. Kicksai's stupid because you have to delete your old unit and build the new unit." So that simple one, that use case of that question is perfect, because that's the answer. That's how you fix it, and it's like, so that would be cool if that would, cut down on support, if that would cut down on, the forum span, and then people could actually, get more one-on-one support. I mean, that's the best case scenario I can think of right there.
No, that's a perfect example. That's a perfect. Lady Warrior, you were going to say something.
Well, and kind of, and actually, Micaiah just pretty much kind of said it, because I really think that the people, or these expert players, that's the kind of questions they're going to get. Okay, I bought the I bought the Omega Phantom, and I know that's the wrong unit. Jericho is probably or even Dina is even better. How do I get it to expert before? I can't do it. I can't build it. I won't upgrade. We tell them you got to delete it and then build your new one.
Or such as like in text, I got tech on my stuff, and I want to take it off and put it on something else, but I don't know how to take all the text off my units. I don't know I don't know how to.
Exactly. I think it's going to be questions like that goes to these players, as opposed to why does my flash keep crashing? Why does this happen? Why do I get DC every time this idiot hits me?
And I bet they got about 20 pages of copy and paste that Kickside would give them.
You're probably right.
I honestly don't think that. I believe, Lonnie, that they're going to leave these guys out to hang to dry, to come up with their own solutions, and I think they're going to be more willing to watch us give them the answers to these issues. I think Kicksai is sufficient for solutions, because we as players, like, how many times have I said, it shouldn't really be honestly up to us to come up with these workarounds for game issues that should have been easily rectified before the launch of said tech.
I agree.
The expert upgrade is a great example. That is such a broken system, and it's like, to actually delete the unit and upgrade it when it could be handled in game is kind of plus two. But so let's say that's the answer people are giving. Delete your old unit and build the new unit. So then they say, okay. So then they go and they delete the old unit, and they're saying, well, why can't I build the new unit? Well, to me, it's like I always answer that question like, make sure you have the expert Jericho. You'll see 0 of 1 in your factory. Make sure make sure all the stars line up first before you actually go delete the unit and then rebuild it. So it's a little bit more complicated, So it's like to me, and two, it's like, am I going to text someone back and forth? I mean, that's probably the only way it would work is like a single text back and forth. Like, how do I do this? And follow up and stuff like that.
That's the can of worms. That's the can of worms right there that I, in the back of my mind, keep holding true. And you did it. You did it splendidly. You have a situation where a player asks, I've just, for lack, because they don't have the base right now, but I've purchased the Expert Jericho package for whatever gold. It won't let me build my Expert Jericho. Why? And you explain to them, well, the system that they put in place is as stupid as a system of XP for our SF units, and you have to scrap your existing unit. You can't just upgrade that unit to the next level. You have to scrap the old one and then build the new one. Now you go into this, and this is the can of worms theory that I have. The person goes in, they scrap their unit. They rightfully and knowledgeably enough go and try to get resources, but they don't have enough Thor to build the expert. Now they're fucked. Now they've just ruined their time, scrapped their unit. They don't even have the other version that they started out with. They got to rebuild that. That costs, effort. Now they're angry at you.
Well, it'd be worse if they went and got the question about scrapping their Jericho, and then went and did that, and then they couldn't have follow up. So then they had to open a new support ticket. I scrapped my Jericho. What do I do now?
Exactly.
And then and then there's always that use case. You come in. I've done customer support text for a long time. You come in. Someone says, "I scrapped my Jericho." I did X. This is scrap Jericho is the better example, but I did X, and I'm thinking, why did someone tell you to do X? Because that's the wrong thing to do. I usually come in, oh, I'm sorry, someone told you to do this. It's the wrong thing to do. And it's like another good meaning support person told them to do something that they shouldn't have done. And it's like, so then you got to go and kind of fix that problem that they, somehow got bad support for. That's why I'm saying scrapping Jericho is the right answer. So it's like, I'm thinking there are other things out there like, it's like they're given bad information. That's one of those things. I hope there's a lot of, to me, it's like, but although I think Susie said it best, you really have to see the system for all this stuff to, know how it works. A lot of these things are like, whether or not, it's a text back and forth, whether or not it's a single use case ticket that you open up and close, or, however they do it. But then too, it's like if you text back and forth, sorry, one more second, lady, but if you text back and forth, that, a lot of that opens up to that, oh, you're a noob, you're an idiot, that same toxic behavior will, flow into that system as well. So it's like, you can't get away from that. But
all right, Hunter, to answer your question, who's vetting the expert players' answers? I would assume that will be Kixeye, or, like I think it was Venom that said that they'll have, 20 sheets of predetermined answers for different questions. What I would love is for anybody that's out there in YouTube land that's on the Unshackled page and listening to the show, if you use the system, please post on the page and let us know how. Don't give out names. Don't dox anybody. Please don't do that. But let us know, what was your question and what was your response? Well, so we can kind of, because I think until it happens, I don't think we're going to really have a feel of how it's going to be until people start using it.
So we'll get to that, the community support Lando wannabe post, and then we'll get the Brent post.
Yeah, wow.
I don't. My biggest concerns are, like I said, the can of worms effect of you tell them one solution, but that opens up another issue if they're not knowledgeable, and you don't quite catch yourself explaining it thoroughly, like, from step A to step Z. You only go step A to step C, and then they get hung up on step D. So there's that ratio. Secondly, they're posing this again to increase productivity and increase the rate of response. I don't necessarily see this as being an accurate assessment. I still believe, and I stated this earlier to the people on the panel that were here. If I send in a ticket and that sits in their queue and they wait for one of the expert players to decide to pick it up. So now that might sit, I'll be a generous person and say it sits overnight for, say, 11 hours, 12 hours. On the 12th hour, it's now 9 in the morning, and somebody's on their coffee break, and they say, okay, I see this in my email. Let me answer it. And they answer my question. But they can't because they don't have the required information or the required access. So then it gets bumped back to Kickside. Now I got to wait for that Kickside representative, and that's another.
A caveat to that is that you when you submit that original ticket, if that's how you want to call it, you have a position in the queue according to the FAQ, and then that doesn't change. So if that
it has
player
to
support.
Change. That's
no,
I understand what they're saying, but I want to catch them up on this. Is that it has to change because if I'm fourth in the queue, and I get taken over by this Kickside player expert, and then it gets bumped back. Are you telling me that everybody first, second, and third in the queue is going to wait for me to get my response? Okay, so I'm not fucked, but I'm fucking everybody behind me.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting
it's
dicked
like
over.
In your example, you're fourth in the queue. The player Kickside expert tries to answer it, and you're not happy.
It's not that I'm not happy. It's not that I'm not happy.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
it's something that ends up where they need better access to rectify my situation. Then I go into Kickside, but I'm fourth in Kickside's queue. I'm holding other people up. It doesn't work out. This. I'm very versed at double talk, circular speak. This kind of shit appeases many, but in paper, it's plausible. In actual, production, it doesn't pan out.
Yeah, that's definitely. You're sort of asking the question: how do they vet the so if you submit a ticket, you're fourth in the queue. How do they submit that? Because if you need, how do I change my password or how do I do X, Y, and Z? If it's something to do with the account, then they can't answer it. So then if
but has there not been situations where it's a simple question, a simple issue, and then it is the question's posed, and unfortunately the answer will not rectify it because there's a deeper systemic error behind it, causing the issue that nobody knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just called into my Comcast and they had a simple question and it's like they couldn't even answer and it just became this long drawn out non-answer. Right.
So let me give you an example. This is a good thing. You gave an excellent example with the expert Jericho. So here we go with a previous event that occurred. We had players that frequent our show and other shows that have gone through this. I myself went through it for about 6 hours, but luckily by that time Kickside worked a fix through. I'm a player and I say, I've moved my command center to adjust my base design, but I cannot get it to go back into position.
Yep.
So that's my ticket. It's a vague ticket. Lady Warrior picks it up, okay? Your basis in this would be to make sure that there's enough space for the footprint of that building to be able to fit back into the spot that you want to place it, correct? That would be a good casual assessment of the issue. Maybe his radio tower is clipping the corner and he doesn't have enough viable land space, open space to put his command center, and it keeps snapping back out. It gives you the red error and it snaps out. Now we found out from very knowledgeable players in the a couple months ago, it wasn't the case. The case was something was fucked up and players moved their CC or moved their building and it would not go back to the center. It just wouldn't. Now, for some, it was because they were fucking twat waffles. For others, they unfortunately were just hemmed up into the situation during the whole effect. So I, as a player expert, or I, as a player, send out this ticket. You, as a player expert, Lady Warrior, take the ticket over and give me a rational, proper explanation. That explanation does not work. Where in this queue am I locked in? I've been given the response. I've been given the answer. I attempt to rectify it using that proper and correct assessment from what information I've given, and it is a valid solution, but it doesn't work.
Well,
So
hopefully it's not like the Kickside customer support, because if you open a ticket and you write a whole bunch of things and then you respond to that ticket, it's the response that determines your place in the queue, I believe. So it's like one of those.
Okay. See, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, from the Kickside support issue, but
So if you wait a day and be like, oh, I forgot to tell them about this part of it, and you do it, so I can just put in a brand new ticket.
If you edit your ticket,
you get put to the back of the line.
Yes, I understand.
But I'm saying, according to the FAQ, they're saying when you have this support ticket, that puts your place in the queue, and if they're unable to answer the question, you'll still be in that queue, is how it's worded. So it's like that,
and again, that puts the completion of my ticket holding up all those behind me.
Well,
you would think it would, yes. Based on what they're saying, you would think that.
I'm a very naive general thinker when it comes to stuff like that. I don't protest to be, how they're going to work their systems of answering questions.
It kind of really depends on how the customer support system works. Like, as a call center support, you have a list of people waiting, and then they just, whenever an agent becomes available, they route that call to you. Mm-hmm. But in this system, it seems like more like there's a huge list of tickets, and hopefully someone's going to go through and vet each ticket. It's like you look at a ticket, within 5 seconds, an expert, Londo, could look at a ticket. Oh, hey, I think this this is a player support issue. Oh, they're asking about account. That's an account support issue. It's like, hopefully an expert will be able to go through, that list really quickly to be able to sort it, into that, in the same list, but then they'll be able to sort, of the player support list, your number one, but in the fifth, overall ticket, and then if you don't get answered, then that, by the first four going through, they, two of them were handled by player, two were handled by agents. Your fifth one comes up, your player didn't help you, so now you're number one in everybody's queue saying, hey, I really need this help. I mean, that's in theory how it, should work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's how it should work, but will it work that way? Like I said, I think we just have to really wait until it gets going. And, like I said, I really would love anybody that gets to use that system to let us know how it works. And, was it satisfactory what, their response, or did you have to end up sending it up to real Kickside customer support for a resolution to your problem?
Hopefully the issues won't be the issue Venom was talking about, where it seems simple, but then it's like it just becomes this really mess of craziness that's like, wow, how did that spiral out of control? And so, I mean, we got to be cognizant of that. It's like sometimes the simple questions do spiral out of control. But I mean, ultimately, I'm honestly hoping that, like I was saying before at the start, it's like I'm hoping that a lot of these questions will be able to be answered. They'll be sort of removed from this overall, because right now the problem right now is customer service is overwhelmed, and we've heard rumors about them hiring non-English speaking, it's like we've seen the non-English, the Situation Room was talking about it a couple times, where they got a ticket where it's like they had no idea what the person spoke English. It's like, so the problem being customer service is overwhelmed. So is this the solution? Probably not. Can they hopefully remove a couple questions and sort of lessen the impact? I'm hoping, but will it become the, but
it would have just been my my savvy experience would have been, it would have proven more valuable to Kickside to take that customer support, player support spot on the forums and move that, pin it to the top or beneath the game itself in the general discussions.
Yeah, there's definitely things that they could probably improve overall to try to make.
They want to run these podcasts. Get their team of developers, their team of actual, the CS, customer service reps. Get them in there and run videos or audio systems and text step-by-steps for certain resolutions of simple issues. That would have wiped a good quarter to a third of the day-to-day problems that newer players, I won't say new players because there isn't many, but newer players or returning players are seeing because of things they haven't come in contact with. Those who stepped away from the game are now coming back and didn't have to deal with the expert Jericho scrap and rebuild. So that kind of a solution to me would have been financially, fiscally far better than just simply teaming up with a third-party service provider to send this data, text messaging, email, whatever they're going to do to handpick dozen or 2 dozen players. Obviously, those players. Now, I'm going to backtrack real quick. I'm not hypocritical in this. We pretty much blatantly asked for this. How many times has Fa, David, Dr. Phil, many of us on these shows here, Situation Room, Roy Boy, I believe, has said it too, where we've said basically, I'll fix it. I'll tell you what to do. Ask me, just, send me some gold or give me this and I'll do it for you. I know better than you know because I play the game every day. And this is true.
Yeah.
It's not the hypothesis.
What I give for some free gold?
I don't know, man. I think you got a problem.
What would you do for some free gold?
We need an intervention. You get back on that gold, man, and you'll just be, it'll be like Hangover 4.
You'll be staring at your app going, come on, ask me questions.
Yeah.
Come on, get another ticket. Come on, guys.
But we asked for this. It's not the hypothesis and what their idea is. It's the institution of it that I think is going to be flawed. And I know that's a little bit my sensitivity to how many things get screwed up in this game on a regular basis that I figure out, well, fuck, this is gonna screw up too. But I don't know. The trusted testers comments is one aspect of this. This is
I was in trusted testers.
Yeah. Were you in the trusted testers? Or were you in the first
Yeah, the very first ever trusted testers when the very first ever hanger came out.
Yeah.
I was in that. I remember people's, as soon as it came out, there was freaking videos right on YouTube. I mean,
well, that's a big problem.
It wasn't too trusted.
Your NDA expire, Fa?
It doesn't exist anymore. The system's gone, so there's no. And anything that would have been in that era of the game is long gone and non-viable today anyway. So
yeah, sorry, that was probably a poor joke. Normally, when you sign systems, you sign NDAs, and this.
I don't even think they made us sign. They didn't make us sign nothing. So.
Really? They act like it's like this horrible thing happened, and it's like, to me, it's like when you go to work for a game company, or really a lot of companies, they'll sit there and they'll have like a 50-page non-compete NDA agreement for you to sign. It's kind of, a lot of them are pretty.
Oh yeah, the fear of corporations that their employees are going to somehow. Employees are the most valuable asset to a corporation and the most under-respected asset at the same time, but yet they act as if we're made out of fucking diamonds and gold and platinum and piss yoo-hoo. I mean, it's hilarious how they treat you with disrespect, but yet hold you and behold you to such ridiculous requirements at times.
Well, it's part of the email they sent out was not to discuss that you got the email as well. So it's kind of like that. That didn't last long.
Oops.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, man. There is that. But whatever. It's craziness. It's just. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they picked some well-resolute individuals who have savvy game knowledge, and not only savvy game knowledge, but actual intellect to figure out solutions, because these solutions are not going to be your textbook solutions. These are things that are going to come at them. I just feel, it's my own speculation, I just feel the questions that they're going to be submitted with from Kickstarter that are going to be passed over to these individuals are going to be the questions that Kickstarter does not have necessarily solutions for. And that Kickstarter will use this as a way to fish out answers and basically use this as yet another pseudo, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe, like a preview server system. It's a way where they have an issue, the post comes in, they send it to somebody, somebody comes up with a solution for it, it rectifies it, and then they can use that to cover their own ass on the backs of players. I mean, that's my own spiteful.
I don't think I can't find that, but there's a couple people in the YouTube chat voicing that same concern about the delays and various things like that. So it's definitely one of those. I think it's a lot of on people's minds that's going to be a problem.
It's not like you know where your position is. I mean, you could be you're one of 10,000 that day. I mean, think when something horrendous happens, my medals disappeared. Okay. Now, it's something that has happened to players, but it's happened to 10,000 players. So you're one of 10,000 on that queue. Are you going to wait for my solution? Then it goes to the next person to get a solution, and you're not necessarily going to get, just like in regular support, you're not necessarily going to get the same player expert.
Well, see, that's a really interesting question. So, the medal payout. So I've actually had that so many times. Now, it would be really cool if we could go to a website or go to some sort of forum that says medals have been paid out or medals have not been paid out. So it's like we know, that's happening.
Well,
but I mean, that's part of that support issue. It's like it would be nice if they could tell the player expert support medals have been paid out this week or haven't. But then if they could tell.
I don't see.
I know, but I'm saying that would actually, But you're talking about what would be a better solution to this, and that's part of that, like giving more information out, letting us know what's going on. These sort of things are kind of like, I'm not talking about just medals. There's so many things in this game that would be nice that if we knew kind of what was happening. It's like a couple times the forums you couldn't activate. So I jumped to their Twitter account being like, oh, hey, modern companies now share their service outage on their Twitter. Nope, not a thing. It's like I couldn't access the forum, couldn't access the game. I'm like, well, I guess the entire game's down, and it's like, no way to find out.
Any of you think that this is going to be, Lady Warrior, Fog, David? Any of you really think this is going to work out well? Do you think
no
high marks or? I don't want to be a downer. I don't want to just.
I think it's going to be. I just think it's going to be a letdown. You're going to have people like me that. One of these guys going to be good for me? I mean, I don't know everything about every little aspect of the game, but these little things that they want me to ask these guys, I'm 99% of the time I'm going to know anything that they can tell me.
Yeah.
It'll probably be good for a little bit. People will get, I got a response within 2
My
minutes.
first ID was 31K, guys. I've never taken an actual more than a week break off of the game since I've started playing. I've always played the game every I've played every event. I've done everything. You know, I've been into this damn game for a long time. So
Yeah.
if they can tell me something that I don't know, please do.
You're going to get players that are going to be nice and happy about it. Honestly, that hey, I got a response real quick, and then you're going to get players of he told me to clear my cookies and cash.
Yeah, which is the same.
You're going to get the same response from some of these players that support gives because they don't know any better. Somebody that has been playing the game, somebody that is tech savvy, will be able to answer some of these things better. How they vetted these people, I will never know. I can understand Doc, he does the shows. I can understand some other people, but I mean,
There's been a couple people that on the forums that are like, you know, they're longtime forum users, they're big time players, and it's like they haven't got vetted either. So it seems weird. But
well, look, you know, all I can say about this, again, this is just my own opinion. Take it for what it's worth, a grain of salt or two. But it was more or less, it was Kickside probably wanted a basic level player and a basic experience of player. I'm not saying about in-game experience. I'm more talking about forum experience. Whether or not they've been on the forums and have posted inflammatory things against the community or against players or against responses from members of the moderator staff, or if they've just been asshats like I have been in the past many times over. Those are the players which I'm sure did not get, regardless of their knowledge of the game, did not get the opportunity. Those who had, we'll say, moderate knowledge, but yet were boosters, probably had a higher probability of being asked. And then those who were superlative in their knowledge and knew a lot and were impressive upon those who went through this shit, those probably got asked as well. But I don't know. Again, even if you had all the knowledge, or you had given responses in forums or given responses to Kick-Size knowledge in past tickets, explaining things to them very, very properly and very knowledgeably, if you were one of those players that blew up the forums on shit and called them dimwits and asshats, then I'm sure you did not get asked, regardless of your qualifications, to help the rest of us.
I didn't mean to cut you off, David. I was just trying to reinforce what you were saying.
Well, it's all good to me.
I guess all we can do is really wait and see, and we'll probably have this discussion again next week after maybe a few people have used it and we get kind of some feedback from the community on how it's going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get these responses. Does it come up differently? I mean, is it so you still are filling out a ticket? It's just odd, you know, until you actually have the ability to take part. I guess you really have to fill it out for yourself or get a response from somebody who's gone through it. Like you're right, lady. You just have to wait, see how it works. I don't know,
But just as a game developer and as someone who's really interested in this, to me, it's like it's definitely something I want to go check out and, you know, see. You know, a lot of people on YouTube are looking at, you know, it's like it's you know, and that's always the same. It's like a new thing. It's always like interest to see what it does, how it works. But you know, then it's like you know, once we have a little bit more. But that to me is just curious to how the questions and how everything will. I mean, from the outside perspective, what we can see.
Well, I can say this. I know some game companies out there do have players helping other players out, and they do get rewarded for whatever reason. It's worked out good for them. It's cut down their workforce staff as far as outsourcing, like the Kick-Size done. As we all said, we're gonna have to see how it pans out. There's no way of telling. Will it be good? Will it be bad? Until you know, you got to give it time, just like everything else, just like the events. First event sucks. Second event gets better. Third event is a lot better than the final event for that season. It's great. We all love it. We're all going, hey, it's great. Yeah, we love it. Of course, the first one, we're all going, this sucks.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Kickstarter's going to do what they can to reduce money. costs. I mean, we all know outsourcing is a money cost reduction for them because what they pay for one person in the U.S., they pay for three overseas.
Yep.
I'm exaggerating, but I mean, it probably
No,
is.
No, you're not.
not really.
Trust me.
It's and not to be disparaging on this past weekend and all, but it is the 2/3 relation. You know, you do get two for the price of one, three for the price of one, in most other companies or countries.
Now
I
there
don't
is
know.
one other thing. There is one other thing. They could be using this to get better candid responses.
That I'm hoping. I mean, I
I
see a
mean,
lot of bonus in it. I don't want to sound all Debbie Downer. There is good to it. It's just me not particularly caring for kick size rational explanation as to why. That's more or less what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's every time I ask that expert Jericho question, I'm like, oh yeah, Kicksai's an idiot. Can't you got to work around their idiocy.
Yeah, but it's just why are you pushing it on? There's ways to do it. You collect the players. You collect this player staff. You put them in group chats, team speak sessions, what have you. You run them through it. You basically make them an external arm of your community service system. You're no longer outsourcing to a customer service corporation, a bunch of guys in cubicles with a computer screen in front of them, and when they punch the clock today, they're working War Commander. They click on their Apple and pull up a bunch of boiler-based cut and paste answers to simple questions. If the question is a technical question relating to command center, these are your four answers. That crap don't fly. So now you're outsourcing it to at least a knowledgeable basis of a person who plays the game and who may have encountered said situations themselves. So that's good. But at the same aspect, I mean, just do that. Just train about the customer response aspect. Train the player who is willing to do this. Don't just throw players onto this list and then let it work itself out shit is how this game is developed, and that doesn't fucking seem to work very well, does it? Let's just throw in this great idea of a plane that allows you to go over top of other platoons, and it's non-attackable. All in all, excellent idea. Except it's unattackable, and you can still circle 6 around your base, and nobody can get in your base. Or you can circle 6 around somebody else's base, and they can't get out of their base. Oh well, dropships fail.
There's a I know it's I don't know where to throw this in there, but there is always a big warning to if people are going to use this system, and so I feel remiss if we didn't at least mention the fact that just the common technical stuff. Maybe David or someone else can add some other stuff, but part of the system is not part of the concerns that whenever you're dealing with this sort of system is never to give out your password, your account details, your Facebook, just sort of the everyday things to be aware of when using
exactly.
And and two, they don't know any of your account details, so that's part of that.
That's my biggest thing. Always remain to be safe and secure with your private information. Obviously, you're going to be stuck. I mean, I can only assume that the one piece of data or the two pieces of data which they're probably going to have access to is going to be your account number, your KIXI number, which for the most part players have already thrown that out on the forums when asked for it which I never agreed with. You shouldn't have to put your ID number out in the public view like that. When there was a situation and the former CM just said, "Oh, okay, I'm making a post on it. Put your name and ID number," and then no, that kind of data collection should not be done that way. Not in a public venue like that.
I didn't realize they didn't have to ask for it. some people are saying that if as soon as you post, they already have your user ID.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the posts. So they're going to have the name.
They don't need your user ID. They can look it up by your account. If they're
that's the way it's
privatized account forum post information.
Yeah, nobody should ever be asking you, whether it be for Kickside, whether it be for Facebook, whether it be your bank account. You get an email saying, "Hey, we need to get your information updated. Please log in here," and it's asking for your username, your password.
Never ever do that unless it's my email sent to you.
So I'm just.
I almost went on
in all aspects, you will never ever get an email from your bank saying, "Please update your information."
I only give my bank information to my Nigerian prince friend who said he was going to loan me $10 million.
Right. Never give passwords. Email is insecure. Just remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever ask you for your username and your password.
Bullshit.
So,
That's kind of why I was bringing it up. You have
no legit text.
Moves us to share that with you.
Yeah, no legit technical will ever ask for that. No bank will ever ask for that via an email.
No,
they will call you saying, "Hey," or you'll get an email like today. LinkedIn was reported they got compromised. So for those people that have LinkedIn, they want to go change your password, and then if you've used that password anywhere,
change it everywhere.
Change it everywhere.
You should, theoretically, the best forms of security for passwords is to never use the same password twice. I mean, that is true, but how many of us actually do that? Typically the average individual picks something or a pair or two of things, and that's all they use for 30, 40, 50 different websites, or your Google and your Yahoo account, and that all has similar or the same password. That is the worst thing you can do.
I know.
Don't use your birthday. Don't use your kid's birthday. Don't use your anniversary date. Don't use your address. How many people I knew in the past that use the 4 digits of their house number as a password to something? It's the dumbest thing you can do. So you might as well just go the Spaceballs route and do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh crap! I got to change the password. I got to change the combination of my luggage.
Smart ass.
No, that's actually a quote from a movie. What's the password to the air shield?
To the air shield, yes.
1, 2.
My beautiful Vespa.
All right, we're getting off track.
Yeah. But
it's my job to keep you on track.
All right. Well, Fa, feel free. You have your floor.
I want to thank everybody for coming out here. I want to thank. I had a recent donation that got me through. Is going to get me through a month of treatment, guys, and it's really blown my mind. It's really made me just speechless. I've been so blown away by this, and I just can't. I can't stress of how this community has just came together and backed me, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to make me fight so fucking hard. And I don't know, man. It's just I'm really speechless. I can't. The words I got, I can't explain what appreciation I got for all this. Dutch donated today to me, and I appreciate everything he's done. He's pushed it through, and he's been there for me. If I need somebody to talk to, he's always there. You guys are my family, and I love you all. I appreciate everything you guys have done. So I just wanted to go out there, and that special guy that donated, I really appreciate it, bro. That means so much to me. Anything you need, my tunes are at your disposal. I can put a rain and fire better than any man out there. I promise you that. If you need it, it's there. But I just wanted to get that thank you in there.
That's definitely welcome. And there's a lot of players out there. We are family, and
Yeah, 100%.
I'm guaranteeing you that there's plenty of other people out there, and they're going to see you through this. So we're all here for you, and it'll keep coming until you're through this. Ain't stopping. It's only started.
Yeah.
You do
I
your
appreciate
part.
it, guys.
You do your part, and the community will do ours.
100%.
Love you, man.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
Guys.
it's approaching. I don't do 2-hour shows. I really don't like doing 2-hour shows. I like to keep these an hour and a half or so. So, any of you opposed to doing our shout outs and letting people get on with their lives and enjoying the rest of this evening?
Hell no! I want to
Sounds
waste
good.
your time. Come on.
So, David,
In that
That's
case,
the after
David.
party show with me, David.
In that case, David, get your shout out.
yeah, you get to do your shout out first, David. Huh.
When don't I get to do my shout out first? It's usually always first.
It's just the order of things. That's just
Yes, no,
that
it's
is the order of things. So he would say, "Get on topic, God damn it." With that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for being on the panel tonight. Venom for running the show. Doc, since you're indisposed, fuck off. I know you're going to watch this later. Everybody out in YouTube that's watched and stuck with us for this whole time. Let's see here. 36 of you.
my best show ever.
Your best show ever. And all the thousands and thousands and thousands and whatever else will be watching this.
We've been holding that number since the beginning.
So, Lonnie, you got this. You're going to beat this. No problem. I promise you that.
Thanks, bro.
You got this. All right. Everybody that has donated, a big thank you. I know Lonnie is speechless with his last couple of donations. For some of you, that is a lot of money. For some of you, that's just chump change. But every little bit helps to Lonnie with all his treatments that he's going to be needing. And trust me, it is a lot of treatments, and it is for after he beats this, it's for another, I think, 2 to 3 years after that he has to go.
Yeah, it's gonna testing's gonna. I'm gonna have to keep getting tested for a long, long time after.
At least I think it's 2 years. You got to keep getting tested.
Yeah,
So,
at least.
Yeah, and then you got more chemo treatments after that. They're not as bad, but it's just a follow-up chemo treatment. So
Like booster shots.
yeah, booster shots. So everybody out there, thank you. All right, and I'm done for now.
Fa, is there anything else you'd like to add since you're next on the list?
And that's it, brother. That's it. Thank everybody.
You're more than
You know, it's not a prayer. Every bit helps, guys, and I feel like I got everybody behind me, so it's making it so much easier. With all the people backing me, and giving me the kind words in my PM, and it never fails. It seems like every time I get in my PM, I got another person, give me kind words and give me inspiration to fight, and I appreciate every bit of it.
Well, with a person with the name "fuck you," trust me, we'd rather be behind you than in front of you. Well, maybe a lady could be. Maybe the ladies could have changed that, but as a guy,
I'm all out of fight, right?
now. Don't you put words in ladies' mouth.
I got all my fight
Good.
directed right now, so I ain't got much fight left in me after this.
It's all right.
But it's all.
Mere resting period, and then you'll come back.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hell.
Fire. Lady Warrior, my dear, anything you'd like to say?
Just a shout out to the panel. Thank you, Venom, for running the show.
Saving your ass.
Yeah, saving my ass since I wasn't quite sure if I was going to know how to do it. Anyway, and then we probably wouldn't have had 33 or 36 views. We probably would have had 5. But anyway, shout out to everybody out there in YouTube land. Thanks for all of your good questions tonight. We gave you what we could as far as this new support system goes. We'll just have to wait and see. And thanks for all your kind words to Lonnie. I'm not sure if he caught everything in the chat, but I did. And that's greatly appreciated. He's our brother. He's our friend. He's our comrade in arms. We wish him the best. You know, you'll beat this, Lonnie. You will. You'll beat this.
Thanks, lady.
And I love you. And
You
that's
too.
it for me. I can't say anything else. I'm going to cry.
All right. Micaiah, any shout outs?
Since I did all my talking during the show, I'll just keep it short and sweet. I appreciate the panel. I know sometimes I miss side chat or don't really talk too much, but I appreciate the panel being supportive and encouraging me. And big shout out to Lonnie and whoever. You know, it just really makes me feel good about, you know, people that try to help out other people, because I can't, and so it's really nice that other people can. So it's just amazing, and you know, it really inspires me to try to get better and do better, so I can actually get to a point where I can actually help out others. So thank you all.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I guess it's up to me. First, before I slip this train of thought, I just want to touch on what Micaiah just said. It's you do help out in the most powerful and valuable way. You have a heart and a mind that understands the value of human compassion and kindness and understanding and humanity as a whole. You're not able to help in a specific way, but you're able to help in a more powerful and general way in the compassion and understanding. And that's valuable to everybody out there. We all love and support, you know, the fellow commanders. We've lost some great people we may not have known specifically or talked to directly. Some we have, some were neighbors down the road that are no longer playing the game because their time has come and gone. But at the end of the day, every one of us is a human being. Every one of us is a valuable commander and a valuable family member. And that's what this whole thing's about. It's about friends, frenemies, enemies, family, people. So we're here to support them however that is. It doesn't have to be one way or another. There's always a way to help out. And sometimes, even if you're not helping a specific person directly, you're helping society by letting these things really touch you in a way that focuses your attention on what your purpose in life really is. With that said, to get off this Debbie Downer kind of shit that I get into,
Yeah, no shit.
my shout outs are obviously to the gentlemen and ladies on this panel. Without you, this show wouldn't have had anything but me, and that would have really sucked. Thank you, community and viewers, who put up with me completely fucking up the entire Shadow Ops section. So that's something to laugh at later. To Dr. Phil out there, take care. See you next week, hopefully, or Saturday if you come on. I believe Dutch better get his butt in the show and run it, because picking up these shows is tiring to me. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. I do. I love it. I appreciate it, and I'm happy to jump on if I'm ever able to. If I'm unable to, I'm sorry. I apologize. As much time, regardless of how much Vaseline I'm gonna have to stick on my lips to kiss my wife's butt for doing this instead of being upstairs watching a movie with her. And I'm definitely gonna hear it later. So know that we all have our crosses to bear. But yeah, to the community, I respect you all, and I hope that these shows are informative and make you smile and give you some ideas, because that's what I'm about. I'm not a technical person. I'm just kind of an ideas person. If you're looking for other styles of shows, there's more than many out there, and I can't wait for Dr. Phil to add his expertise to the next episode, because his points and his knowledge is beyond valuable. It's priceless. Same with Fear the Peel. He's always had great intuitive answers. He's knowledgeable too. He knows, you know, he doesn't mince words. If he sees something that's just blatantly obvious, he doesn't fuck around. He says, you know, you're a noob, you're stupid. It doesn't work this way. It works this
That's
way.
his favorite saying, noob. So
Yeah, I know. And you, David, you know, your technical knowledge, and Mike, you know, Micaiah, your knowledge of computer CS, that kind of stuff. All these points and perspectives, Baku's just immense in-game play knowledge. Without us, without players like that, I'd have nothing to bank on for information. So I appreciate it. To kick Sai out there, not that they're watching, not that I care, but I appreciate the forthright transparency, the push to be more inclusive with the game community. So for that, I commend you. And with that, this is War Commander Unshackled. Hope all you have a great evening. And that's us signing out.